Donald Trump's life. Learn English through story-graded reader English listening practice. When Donald was just a boy in Queens, New York, he wasn't thinking about towers, billions, or the White House. He was thinking about winning. Not in the way most kids do, but in a way that consumed him. Whether it was baseball, arguments with his brothers, or making his bed faster than anyone else, young Donald wanted to come out on top. He wasn't always liked for it, but he didn't mind. He believed life was about being bold. His father, Fred Trump, was a strict man-builder, a businessman, a provider. Fred built houses and made rules. Donald learned early that if you wanted something in life, you had to fight for it. And Donald, he had dreams much bigger than just building houses. He wanted to build something the world would never forget. As a teenager, Donald got into trouble. Too much energy, too much confidence, and maybe too little patience. So his parents sent him to military school. It was a place where boys wore uniforms, followed orders, and had to stand tall. At first, Donald hated it, but over time, he learned something powerful. Discipline could sharpen ambition. He learned how to channel his energy, how to lead, how to compete with purpose. After military school, he studied at Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. It was there he started to believe he wasn't just going to follow in his father's footsteps. He was going to leave his own footprint across the skyline of New York. Big, bold, golden dot. In the 1970s, Donald entered real estate. At first, people laughed. He was young, loud, and too sure of himself. But when he convinced the city to let him rebuild the crumbling Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt, one of New York's hottest hotels, it silenced a few doubters. But Donald wasn't after silence. He wanted headlines. So he kept going. Trump Tower came next. Then casinos in Atlantic City. His name started appearing on buildings, books, and even television shows. By the 1980s and early 90s, Donald Trump was no longer just a businessman. He was a symbol, a brand, a man who had taken a dream and turned it into steel, glass, and gold. But life doesn't move upward forever. In the early 1990s, the empire he built started to crumble. Bad business decisions, mountains of debt, and economic collapse brought him to the edge. Newspapers called him a failure. Analysts predicted the end, but Donald didn't quit. He renegotiated loans. He sold assets. He leaned on his instincts. He survived, and he did more than survive. He reinvented himself. He stepped onto reality TV with The Apprentice and turned his image into entertainment. Millions watched. Millions admired. He became a household name around the world, not just in business, but in pop culture. Yet even that wasn't enough. In 2015, he did something few expected. He announced he was running for president of the United States. People laughed again. Critics said he had no experience, no chance. He believed in his message, "Make America Great Again," and millions of Americans believed too. In 2016, Donald J. Trump won the presidency. Against political giants, deep media scrutiny, and global disbelief, he won. It was the ultimate underdog victory. He was the first businessman with no political or military background to sit in the Oval Office. Whether people agreed with him or not, he changed the rules. He proved that someone from outside the system could beat the system. His presidency was filled with storm-strong opinions, political battles, and a deeply divided nation. He faced impeachment, a pandemic, protests, and constant headlines. Through it all, he stayed true to one thing: fighting. For his vision, for his supporters, for what he believed was right. After leaving the White House, Donald didn't disappear. He remained one of the most talked about and influential figures in America. To some, he was a hero. To others, a controversy. But to all, he was a force. So what can we learn from Donald Trump's story? It's not about politics or wealth. It's about believing in your voice even when the world tries to silence it. It's about falling and standing back up, about taking risks, making noise, and never being afraid to be bold. His life reminds us, no matter where you start or how many people doubt you, if you have the courage to chase what you believe in, the world will know your name. This is the story of Donald Trump, a boy from Queens who dreamed loud and lived louder.